So here we have a Waltham size 12 pocket watch movement from 1912. I have a client who has special requested a 44 millimeter rose gold wristwatch made from a size 12 pocket watch. He wanted an enamel dial with Roman numeral hour markers. He wanted sapphire crystals front and back. He wanted blued screws, which we'll do here in a little bit. And here we're starting with a beautiful movement. Doesn't have any damage whatsoever. I cherry pick from thousands of movements to get these movements. It makes my job easy when I start with a beautiful movement. And there's so many of these available that there's no reason not to. Precious metal refiners pull these movements from the cases and discard them just so they can refine the case and get the gold out of it. So anything that I get in that's not in beautiful condition just gets used for parts. Anything with great plates gets salvaged, and this is one of those. This one, actually, I'm going to fast forward through all of Disassembly. There's nothing noteworthy to see. Every part was in good condition. There were no broken pivots, no broken jewels, no screws needed to be replaced, no anything. And just the oils had dried out, and that's the only reason why it's not running. So we'll tear it apart real fast here. We'll blue the screws. We'll modify the case so that it will hold this pocket watch movement, and we'll put it all together. And since we have some awkward silence here as this movement comes apart, let me drop a shameless plug. If you like watches like these, scan the QR code at the top right corner of the screen, or check the video description below for a link to my online shop. So like I said earlier, he requested that the screws and the regulator be blued, which gives the movement a little extra pop when you look at it through the sapphire crystal back. And all we do here is we polish all the screws, the hands, the regulator to a nice perfect polish, and then put them on this brass plate and heat that plate to 300 degrees Celsius. Once it hits 300 degrees, it gets this nice blue color that is what we're looking for. We pull it off the heat, let it cool off. And here we have all the parts of the movement all laid out after coming out of the watch clean machine. We're going to use a brand new white alloy mainspring because the blued mainspring that was in it was the original, and the blued carbon steel springs are not as good as the modern white alloy, so we're going to use a modern spring for that. And this is our case. This is a case that was intended for an ETA or ETA 6497 or 6498 movement, which is just a little bit small for the size 12 pocket watch. So I'm going to need to open this case up a little bit on the lathe to make room for this movement. And once we do that, we'll need to modify the crown for the negative set American style pocket watch, because this is intended to be used with a Swiss style positive set watch. On Swiss watches, the crown and stem are part of the movement. On American, the crown and stem are part of the case. Here we have the bezel on the lathe. I'm going to just quickly open this up about 2 millimeters or so that it slides over the top of our movement. As you can see, I'm cutting a little bit away and putting in a main plate that I have here to use as a template. I just keep cutting and testing until I get it to fit in there just right. Not much to see on the reassembly either. It's just a standard straightforward movement assembly. So the client who ordered this watch requested that I make a video of the progress. I told him I would make a video and upload it to YouTube for him, but I already have several videos of servicing movements, and it takes me a day to edit a video of a full movement servicing. Cutting out each of the tool changes and breaks and test fitting and everything associated with the servicing takes several hours between disassembly, cleaning, reassembly, and my experience is people watch these videos for about 10 minutes. So in the interest of keeping this video under 15 minutes, what I'm going to do here is just fast forward through the disassembly and the reassembly and document what's been done. What you're seeing is just a raw footage of the servicing sped up so fast that you're not going to spend a few hours watching it. And as we're waiting for this to come together, if you are interested in having a watch like this made, you find my contact information in the video description below. Message me, let me know what you're looking for. I would be happy to work with you. I primarily use American-made pocket watch movements made between the 1890s and the mid-1950s. I use size 0, size 6, and size 12 movements, which make wristwatches of 36, 40, and 44 millimeters in size, which I feel is the perfect range for modern wristwatches. At the time these were made, America was making the best watches in the world. Actually, nothing has changed in mechanical watchmaking in the last 100 years. Modern mechanical watches use all of the same principles and to this day are comparable in their production. Only the finest modern watches, however, have the attention to detail that was standard practice back in the late 1800s and early 1900s. The finishing on the plates, the enamel dials, and just the pride of workmanship that went into these antique movements is only rivaled by the best watches made today. These watches cost an average American's weekly wage back when they were new, and they were made to last him his lifetime. In fact, with proper servicing and maintenance, these watches are eternal. They will run forever, and they can be kept running forever. If you compare this watch to an IWC Portugueser F.A. Jones, this watch is what that watch is trying to recreate in their homage to their vintage pocket watches. And it does it at 1/8 of the price. Now that our movement's serviced up, it's time to get it in the case and finish up here. Here I'm going to put the O-ring back into the bezel. These are water resistant cases. Since this is a pop-on bezel, I don't recommend swimming with these. As far as I'm concerned, if it doesn't have a screw-on bezel and case back, it's not really a waterproof watch, as they used to call them. It's more for water resistance for showering, hand washing, walking in the rain. Most pocket watch conversions aren't made water resistant at all, and something I pride myself on is that all of mine are water resistant. I have tested these in the past to 3 ATM, which is 30 meters water resistance depth, and they typically pass even at that depth, but the intention is not for them to be a swimming watch. So we'll get the hands and the crystal on here, a band on it, give it a final timing and box it up. These hands were blued along with the screws. They originally were blued hands, but over time the bluing tends to fade and oxidize, so since I was bluing the screws anyway, I went ahead and polished off all of the existing bluing and blued them again so that they'd be the same color as the screws and regulator on the back side of the watch. Another thing that's nice is that the rose gold or pink gold plating on the watch case matches pretty much perfectly with the rose gold accents on the movement. The rose gold in contrast with the blued screws, and having it all come together matching real nice like that really gives this watch a nice appearance. And here we are on the Timegrapher. It's showing amplitude of over 270, a beat error of under 2 milliseconds, about 1.4, which that's about 5 seconds fast per day. This is where we want to see everything. Gain and lose a little bit of time in different positions, so it's about where I like to leave them, a little bit fast, about 5 to 7 seconds fast. I find is a perfect place to leave them. And these wind and set just like any other wristwatch. No problems with lever set movements or key wind or key set. And here I'll pop on a band. I use these bands with quick change spring bars so that you can swap up the band whenever you want. No tools needed. This is what it looks like, all done. Hope you're happy with your watch, Kevin. And it's Charles from the future here. Just as I was putting the finishing touches on this video, Kevin emailed me some wrist pics of this watch. I thought I would include them here. And recently I've started making my own watch boxes here. They come in their presentation box with a little crown tool and space for additional bands should you want to order some. All foam padded, protected for shipping, and this is what you'll get if you buy one. I appreciate you watching to the end. If you're interested in a watch like this, scan the QR code at the top right corner of the screen or check the video description below for a link to my store. Again, thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.